So this is a big value for role selection in the business, and it comes from Warren Buffett. The best investment is in yourself, and this is absolutely critical for anybody looking to improve their game, to build more, to achieve more. You need to follow this rule. Here's how. Right, one of our values as an organisation, the best investment is in yourself. Fantastic quote, Warren Buffett, incredible. It's a conversation I had yesterday with Cosmos on levels and standards. As this organisation grows, the standards of this business will drop. I invest in myself every single day. Whether that be reading, whether that be YouTube, whether that be podcast, whatever it is, level investment. No, yeah, well, I don't also do that. I'm driving to work, I don't listen to music. If I'm driving to anywhere, other than my missus being in the car because she hates everything on 2-speed and I can't listen to everything on 1-speed, but I'll get it. If I'm dropping her off to go do something for 10-15 minutes, like to go to the shops or something, I'll drive her there because I know that I can read my book in the car while she's going around the shop or doing whatever it is. Okay? When I get to the office, as soon as 7:30, 7, I'll read. And I usually pace around the office because then I also get my steps up and I get to consume content and I'll take a photo of it or put it in my red book. So the best investment is in yourself. No surprises with me guys for mentioning that, right? There is different types and levels of investment. Every single recruiter that I speak to and sit down with, that I interview with, always tells me, what do you want to do? What's one of your goals? And every single one of them tells me they want to go into property. Right? I don't know a single, I know of a few handful of recruiters, because Brad's now looking at me and I do know somebody, although I wouldn't have known that he'd gone into property. But I know one recruiter who's now an internal recruiter that's in property, but we're talking maybe 2 or 3 people that actually have a property portfolio or actually rent out a property that aren't business owners that have done it. Okay? So if that's the case for everyone, but everybody wants to achieve it, why are they not doing it? Okay? And it's possibly because the best investment is in yourself, but all we're doing is looking at the options that are free. So what I want to challenge you to think about is how can you find something that potentially is free and utilize that, but there's a reason why some of these things are paid for, and that's because it's not only the fact that if you pay for it, you get the return, you'll make sure that you've got the return investment on it, and you'll actually use the bloody thing. Because how many ebooks have you downloaded? How many sales things have you intended to watch? How many processes have you gone through? When was the last time you bought a book? Now, you're blessed in here on the basis there is an absolute ton of books in this office, but instead of waiting for someone else to finish it, when was the last time you bought one? Okay? When was the last time you read a really good book and thought, I'm actually going to study this, no, I'm going to hand it to the next person who wants it because they want to read it? Well, actually, you could have gone back and gone through it. There's books in there that don't go out of my office because I've either studied them, scaling up is one of them, because if that didn't come back, I'm going to use that over and over again. Okay? There's also signed books in there, which none of you get any grubby hands on, but that's, from my perspective, nobody's touching The Relentless by Eddie Hearn because I absolutely love the guy. But again, I've read it twice and I've begun to study that. But it's not just that. I know there's people around this table that have invested in coaches. I invested in a coach previously. This isn't a big message of guys go out there and spend your money. But what I'm saying is, instead of buying a new handbag, instead of buying a pair of shoes, instead of buying something X, Y, and Z that may or may not bring value to you, maybe the PlayStation game, maybe the whatever, maybe that could be something where you spend on an investment in yourself. And I don't just mean how do you learn and develop and become better at sales to become better at recruitment. When was the last time you bought something in a Healthwise and it wasn't Holland & Barrett basic range of vitamin D, which absorption levels are absolutely bad shit? When was the last time you actually thought, right, I'm actually going to buy something of quality to make me better and make me healthier? That might be, I'm actually going to upgrade my wardrobe to come into work. I might be, I'm actually going to buy a shirt with cufflinks options rather than buttons, as we've just been talking about. But that level of investment in yourself changes everything, right? I said this to Mo yesterday. I feel like Mo is a different man walking into this office at the moment. The man's coming in a suit, and it's like he's gone from the guy that kind of sloped in a little bit and slumped to his desk to this guy with full of confidence. Maybe it's because he's now started eating again and eats over and he's got the ability to be able to consume water, food during normal hours, and he can get back to his eating his takeaways and spending all his cash on I don't know, burgerisms, but it brings a different element to that individual. And it was like, okay, do you know what, it's literally like you've got a spring in your step. Well, that's a little bit more confidence, a bit more John coming in a suit, feel better, feel more motivated, I don't know. But that level could be yours if instead of buying X, you bought Y. Instead of buying a takeaway or a bowl of cookie dough, whatever you bought yesterday, that'll take you 7 days to eat, it could be that. So look, and it's easy for me to sit in front of you guys and say X, Y, and Z, but most people, if you Google any sales trainer, any wealthy person, whether it be Grant Cardone, whether it be Jordan Belfort, whether it be Tony Robbins, whether it be Mark Cuban, and they said, if I had £1,000, what should I invest it in? And they will all go, £1,000 is for make yourself better, make that money into £2,000, and then spend that money investing yourself to make you better. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out there and spend £1,000, but what if you spend £5 on making yourself better? What in case, instead of having, I don't know, obviously cufflinks, but cufflinks that have gone brown, you went and got something that made you feel more confident. And when you came to work, you were like, yeah, I'm on this. What if that book that you've always wanted to read is around everybody else, instead of that, you begin to build your own library of books that you can continue to read and develop. Okay? Again, easy message for me to say, oh yeah, here's a business owner telling you all to spend money and go out there and do it and become poor and then you fight, work harder and you do this, and I've gone through that and I've been told that that's a really good method. I'm not encouraging that. Don't make yourself poor by bloody investing in yourself. Make yourself better to be able to build the skills and utilise that. And of course, utilise the free stuff, but make sure you use it. If you're going to read a book, make sure you make notes on it. Don't just read it just to get through it. If you're going to go online and get an ebook, read the flaming thing and apply something to it. Okay? Free thing you can all do today is all listen back to one of your calls today. And you will learn more from that than anything else that you could possibly do today from an investment perspective and go, do I actually talk like that? And all you need to do is create a tally chart on the number of runs. And if we'll go above 5 and you'll go, you're already better than you were yesterday. That focus around that has to be consistent to get you to wherever you want to be. Every single person around this table has goals. Every single person has a level of frustration that they're sat in at the moment. We can blame everything under the sun, and I've been there. I blamed the previous business I've worked in, I blamed bosses that I've worked for, I blamed X, Y, and Z, I blamed the market, I blamed the oil price. It's difficult today because the oil price, because of this and that. Okay, great Jim Rohn quote. One sales guy looks outside the window, it's absolutely thrown it down today and says, I can't go out today. They can't expect me to go out and do door-to-door sales today. I'm staying at home. The other sales guy looks out the window and goes, fantastic. All the rest of the sales guys will be at home. I'm going to have to sell. Right? It's about a level of mindset, and it's about where do you want to play at, what do you want to be at, and that level of focus is going to take you to another level. So your biggest frustration is you are not at the level that you want to be able to operate at, and unfortunately, until you go, yeah, I'm done, I've got to where I want to be, you won't be at that level. You'll always have that level of frustration. Because if I told you when you started in this business, the guys have been here for long enough, that you would be where you are now, you'd be like, yeah, great, I'm starting to make movements, I'm starting to get vacancies on. Oh, I can now speak to a candidate confidently. Oh, I can actually now sell a retainer. I put money on the board. Oh, I've had the best start to the year I've ever had. But yet you sat there and you're going, I'm annoyed with myself because I want more and I want this and I want that. And the reason for that is because you are not at the level you want to be in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And that becomes easier when you hit the 200k mark, because then it doesn't become an issue from a compensation perspective and an earnings perspective. It becomes more of a perspective of how do I get better? How do I improve myself? And it's not like, everyone around this table might think at the moment of £1,000. If you would stake £1,000 and invest it in yourself right now, that'd be expensive. If I said to you £10 right now, you might go, oh, that's expensive, or that's not expensive. Okay, you might think some books for 25 quid is expensive. You might not, right? Wherever you're at, if you went and sat down with Jack, for example, and he'd be like, well, all right, well, if is £1,000 for Jack expensive? Don't know. You have to ask him. But is it £10 for Jack expensive? You have to ask him. So it's that level of how do you get to where you want to be and how do you get there quicker in order to do it. And there's free options, there's really expensively paid options. You know, you could go on Tony Robbins' course and be a partner's mastermind for 50 grand a year, right? You could go and invest your capital into, you know, you need a minimum £1 million if you want to invest your capital, there's things like that. There's huge amounts of stuff that you can do. You can go and get a Tony Robbins course, one of Tony Robbins' coaches for 12 months, that's 12 grand a year, right? There's loads of different options. You could buy a book for a tenner. You could go to a charity shop, and every time you went shopping, you walked into a charity shop to see if there was a book that was useful. That might be £1 or 50p. I bought Sir Alex, I'm not ready yet, but I bought Sir Alex Ferguson's biography from a charity shop because I was in there. There's a whole funny story around it, but it's not interesting. Okay? Any questions, queries, anything on that?